So, good morning to all of you. In spite of the heavy rains, at least 30-40% of you are for already admitted for the class, and I know few will join us. So, today we will try to wind up in finding the problems which are associated with the wildlife. If my memory goes right, day for yesterday we have discussed about two important problems. One is the hunting and poaching, and the hunting and poaching, and the another one being over harvesting. So today we have to discuss about two things. One is three things. One is climate change, then habitat destruction, as well as deterioration, or what is known as degradation. So about these two things we will discuss today. First, let me start with the climate change. All of you know the climate change is the burning topic today. Uh, all of us are experiencing probably the climate change, the impact of climate change. To give an example, this entire year, which you might have seen, is the reflection of the climate change, because every month we had rains. Otherwise, in this reason, uh, rain used to stop maximum in the month of November, and there would have been January to April, the hot summer months and winter, and this year there was no winter. All these are the impact of this climate change. So this climate change has resulted in the global warming, uh, making it hot days much hotter, rainfall and flooding heavier, hurricanes stronger, and if there are droughts, that will be more severe. What you expect is intensification of weather and climate extremes. Intensification of climate and weather extremes visible is the visible impact of global warming in our everyday life. So this is causing dangerous changes to the landscape of the world. Not only landscape, even the waterscape also. As a result, there will be a lot of stress to the wildlife species and their habitat. So it is because every plant and animal requires some specific habitat requirements. Habitat means, don't think it is only the earth and soil, it is the climate and the environment also. So a change in the climate could cause disastrous effect and impact on this wildlife species. As a result of this climate change and the global warming, sea levels are rising. Why? Because of the increase in the temperature, the ice caps which are stored in the polar region as well as in the mountain tops, they are melting and adding more and more water to the sea level and rising it. Then the sea oceans are becoming warmer, uh, more intense droughts in some part, whereas heavy floods in other parts. Wildlife and it also affects on the wildlife as well as the freshwater supply. So this has affected from polar bears in the Arctic to marine turtles of the coast of Africa and even in India. In Indian example, I will give you later. The climate change poses fundamental threats to places, species, and people's livelihood. How the climate change has affected India, I can give you one example. Every year nowadays, since last 5, 6, or 10 years, in the rainy season, usually at the end of the rainy season, here, and it is almost in the middle of the rainy season in the northern India, there will be heavy rainfall in the Himalayan mountains. As a result, there will be uh, vast scale flooding in the river Ganga and other rivers which originate in the Himalayan mountain. Suppose if you go back to another 15 years, 20 years back, this was not the case. Now the flood has become a common feature in all the rainy seasons. Why it's so? Earlier, actually, Himalayan mountain ranges used to get very few rain, but they used to get lot of snowfall. So this, if there's a snowfall, what happens? The snow get piled up during the winter, and during the summer it used to melt, and you might have read all our rivers of the North Indian plains are perennial rivers, because in the summer the ice used to snow and ice used to melt from the Himalayan terrain and used to flow. Now because of the increased temperature, even the Himalayan mountains, at least in the lower reaches, have started getting lot of rainfall instead of snowfall. So once there's a rainfall, immediately there will be a flood in the river which originate in the uh, Himalayan mountain. So this is a one example of how the climate change has affected. Now, what will happen because of this to the wildlife? These wild animals face new challenges for survival because of this climate change. As I have told you, there will be more intense drought, storms, heat waves, sea level rising, melting of glaciers, warming of the oceans will have directly harm the animal. In animals, usually there are two types, euryhaline and stenohaline. The one which tolerate uh, temperature fluctuation to a greater extent, and another one which is have a very narrow tolerance for temperature fluctuation. Especially the organisms which have a very narrow tolerance for the temperature fluctuation, they are more affected, and even ultimately it can create havoc on people's livelihood also. So this climate change has resulted in the loss of wetlands, because higher temperature will lead to drier condition, especially in almost all the grasslands and in pothole regions, and this is one of the most important breeding areas of uh, North American waterfowl. It has been seen there's a loss of wetlands. Then sea level rise. Sea level rise will inundate beaches. Beaches will be submerged, marshes, and causes the erosion on both the coasts. Once the coasts are affected, it will affect the habitat of the birds, invertebrates, fishes, and other coastal wildlife, because these are the one uh, which require some very specific and peculiar habitat, like intertidal zones or sandy or rocky beaches like that. So when there is a sea level rise, this will affect the habitat of these organisms. Then invasive species and diseases. Higher average temperature change the rain and snow pattern, and this will make invasive plant species to move into new area. Because of the change in climatic condition, the older species including the plants may find it difficult to survive, whereas some other exotic species or invasive species which can tolerate this will come and colonize. Especially some of the pests also, like mountain pine beetles, uh, they prefer drier habitat, and especially the plants which are weakened by the drought, they can affect them. And even the pathogens and the host which thrive in the higher temperature will spread to new areas. A slight drop or rise in average rainfall uh, will translate into large seasonal changes. Slight rise or drop, because many of the hibernating mammals, reptiles, amphibians, insects are harmed and disturbed. To take the example, last year there was no winter. So, here at least in this part. So, if there is no winter, usually there are many organisms which go for hibernation, winter sleep. If there is no winter, this hibernation process is not induced at all. Even uh, the organisms are harmed by the change in the moisture. Uh, Atmosphere has certain amount of moisture. If you come to coastal region, the moisture is more. If you go to away from the coast, it becomes drier and drier. Now what happens, the drier areas will increase, and as a result the it will harm the animals which require more amount of moisture in the atmosphere. So then natural phenomena like floods, earthquake, volcanoes, lightning, forest fires, they will also change. Sometimes these extreme events bring about sudden changes in the population composition also, population status. Some species will increase, some will decrease. Single drought year can cause drastic crashes in some insect species. Uh, while there can be a boom in the population of some other species. Some species may die, other species may come up. As a result, that will affect or jeopardize the species assemblage or community assemblage. So the changes uh, will totally disturb the entire ecosystem. Uh, Not only that, it has been observed that the variation in the temperature, um, drought, extreme seasonal rainfall may lead to some physical and behavioral changes in some of the species, and dramatic changes in the distribution pattern of many species you can see. So in any food chain, phytoplankton and krill, they mostly along with the other aquatic plants or plants, they are the beginners of the food chain. These microscopic planktons and the krill provide food for huge number of animals in the sea, starting from barnacles to fishes, even to shark and whales. They depend on planktons and krills because the planktons are produced in such a faster rate that by the time the animals eat the phytoplanktons or krill, they are replenished. Uh, but these phytoplanktons and krills are easily affected by change in the sea temperature. A sudden rise of 1 degree Celsius in the seawater temperature will make them to move away from that place or die. Even slightest changes affects on phytoplanktons and krill. Then what happens? This reduces the amount of food availability because they are the producers. So at the producer level, the availability of the food uh, goes on diminishing, and once the producer get affected, it affects the entire food chain. Even many other animals like mosquitoes, egrets, it may be good for global warming. It, Global warming is good for mosquitoes and egrets, and that means they can spread to further area in the rest of the part of the world where previously it was too cold. Even mosquitoes and egrets, they prefer tropical climate, but now because of the increase in the temperature, even they can move to the colder parts. For example, the little egret, ಏನು ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳ್ಳಕ್ಕಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ಲ್ egret, the white long necked egret that you see here, that is the egret. This was a very rare sight in European countries, especially in United Kingdom. But nowadays they are seen regularly in good numbers in estuaries of South England. Because of the global warming, the temperature has increased. So higher the temperature, it will favor the invasion of such species. But at the same time, what happens? Many slower animals like snails and frogs, Either they are facing a very precarious future, or they are in a state of being totally wiped off. In Mozambique, an African country, scientists have noticed a change in the distribution of venomous snakes also. The change in the distribution of venomous snakes, because some of areas are no longer suitable for human population, some of the places. As a result, the snake bite risk has increased in the central and southern region of the country, because the snakes started moving to other areas also where previously they were not found, in the central and southern region of this country. Um, Even many species of birds depend on environmental cues such as temperature and seasonal changes. Many of the birds' reproductive cycle gets initiated based on the temperature and seasonal changes. So these cues have been changing and becoming disruptive, uh, and sending the birds a confusing cues. In the sense, every year either their reproductive pattern or their migration, everything was depending on temperature and seasonal changes. But now unseasonal rains or very high heavy precipitation or global warming, all these things are giving some very confusing information to this one. It has been observed that in the last 2 decades or so, birds have started laying their eggs earlier than usual. Earlier, some of the birds used to lay the eggs in a particular season. Now it has been advanced, earlier usual. Uh, Even animals having shorter period of hibernation. The one animal which has been greatly affected by this climate change is the sea turtle, because these sea turtles are losing their nesting areas because the sea level has increased approximately 50 centimeters. So, sea turtle lay the eggs in the beaches, but the beaches are inundated by sea water. Uh, Even scientists have also noticed reduction in the fish population. Uh, Here, one more thing, many times the temperature affects on the sex ratio in many of the organisms. So, change in that increase in the temperature may lead to the reproduction of only one sex. That's also there. In Africa, the elephants have become very sensitive to the rising temperature. Uh, as a result, now they are subjected to new diseases, because the elephants, being the largest living creatures on the earth, they need large amount of water, which is also becoming very scarce because of the drought and desertification. As all of already told you, the North Pole, the ice is melting rapidly. This melting of the ice has threatened the lives of polar bears, and uh, they are now limited to a small food resources. So there are many the lists of animals which are negatively affected by climate change. For them, examples are whooping crane, American pikas, leatherback sea turtle, hawksbill sea turtle, narwhals, staghorn corals, Becknell's thrush, monarch butterflies, ringed seals, common clownfish. So the list is endless, I should say that. These are only some of the examples. So that is the serious effect of the climate change on the wildlife. After having discussed about the impact of climate change on the wildlife, it's the time to move to the another problem, another more severe problem, that the habitat destruction. You know, each organism requires some specific habitat or the place to dwell for their very survival. Suppose think that if their habitat itself gets destroyed, what would be the fate of those organisms? Especially the habitat destruction is a major cause for major problem for this endemic species as well as endemic species, and uh, most of our endemic species are being highly threatened, and many of them have become endangered also. Uh, this habitat is the place where the animal dwells, find the food, find the mate, and reproduce and perpetuate. It is a natural home of plants, animals, and other organisms that is known as habitat. And maintaining this space is very crucial for the very survival of both the individuals, for both individuals and species. Unfortunately, now what's happening is habitats of large number of species are being destroyed. As a result, Earth's plant and animal species are under severe threat, and this habitat destruction can be natural or man-made. Natural habitat destruction was there since the origin of this earth, like volcanoes, thunder, lightning, sometimes floods, droughts. These were used to create havoc in the habitat, but it was natural, and species could protect themselves or tide over such uh, phase and survive. But now what's happening is their habitats are being destroyed at an alarming rate by the anthropogenic activities or by the activities of the human being. Uh, so this habitat loss is contributing to the permanent loss of species. Not only the loss of species, it will weaken the ecosystem also. As a result, it is impacting on both the overall health of the planet and biodiversity of the planet, and ultimately it will affect the quality of human life. We are responsible for this, but temporarily in between the wildlife and nature will also has to face the bear this problem, but ultimately everything will be boomeranged to human life only. All of you know habitat is an ecological or environmental area. It's an ecological or environmental area that is inhabited by a particular species of animals, plants. Each habitat has certain uniqueness, and each species is very unique to a specific habitat. So that's why it is the ecological area that is inhabited by a particular species of animals. Now I have told you, just I have used the word, the particular animal, plant. The typical refers to the zone in which the organism lives. Where lives means the place where it finds food, shelter, protection, and mates for reproduction, and congenial atmosphere for perpetuation. It's a natural environment in which the organisms live. We can also say that all the physical environment that surround the species is has also becomes the part of the habitat. Habitat is not only the place or an area or a location, it is the culmination of the both biotic and abiotic environmental factors which surround that a particular species. Probably this habitat destruction is the effect of overpopulation, or the human activities is by far the biggest cause of habitat loss. What has happened over a period of time, the human population has increased, doubled in the past, almost it has doubled in the past 50 years. When the human population explodes or increases, there will be pressure on the house or place to live for the human beings and to feed the hungry mouths. Even today, we have to feed more than 7 billion people. Um, and we have what we have done, what these human beings have done is so uh, they started encroaching the previously pristine natural habitat, and we have entered into the place habitat of the wildlife. And at the same time, uh, not only we have encroached their habitat, destroyed their habitat, and we have also contributed to the climate change. And as a result, the spread the and nature of wild, we have spread to the into the habitats of the wildlife. Primary cause for the habitat destruction is the agriculture, clearing the land for agriculture. When the population increases, demand for food also increases. To increase the food, what we have to do? We need more land for cultivation or for agriculture. Naturally, the people will start encroaching the forest. So the production of more food grain is at the cost of the natural habitat of the wildlife. Uh, an estimate say that 1,77,000 square kilometers, 1,77,000 square kilometers of forest and woodlands are cleared annually. On a worldwide, I am talking. On a worldwide, 1,77,000 square kilometer area of forest and woodlands are cleared, because we need more space for farming, or we need more timber for fuel, and we need more wood products. So naturally, for all these things, the pressure will be intense on the forest, because forest is the major habitat for many of the wildlife. There's also an estimate suggests that Earth has lost about half of its forest. Earth has lost about half of its forest in 8,000 years of human activity. If you trace back to the human uh, civilization or history, maximum we can go back to 8,000 years back. Below that we call it prehistoric period. So within this 8,000 years, we have lost something half of the its forest. Uh, but the intensity at which the forests are being depleted is occurring at a very higher rate, very faster rate in the recent decades. Probably almost 3% of the forests have been lost since last 20 years. Since 1990 alone, that means since last 20 years, we have lost about 3% of the forest. So this is the photograph which will tell you much more than what I have just now suggested. Not only forest, habitat means habitat. Forest is one type of habitat. The loss of wetlands. Wetlands means waterlogged area. Many times we consider this waterlogged area as a most unused land, but remember that the most fertile land and the maximum primary production you can expect in the wetlands. They are the source of fresh water, where many of the rivers originate in these wetlands. So we have lost wetlands, plains, lakes, and other natural environment. All are either destroyed or degraded because of the human activities. How one is changing them or introducing some invasive species for the commercial purpose. We will start. A good example is the acacia, which has been planted everywhere. It is an invasive species. Now see, basically it was planted in a dry area or the area where no other tree can come, but this is an invasive species, so it has colonized every part. So like this, or by polluting. Pollution has also uh, a type of habitat destruction. Um, then trading in wildlife or engaging in wars. In wars can also create lot of havoc. To give one example, I don't know how many of you remember, or many of you might not have even born in 90s, 91, yeah, 1990, 91. There was a Gulf War where America and other friendly nations together attacked on Iraq. At that time, Saddam Hussein was ruling. The in order to what then when the war broke, what the Iraq people did, Saddam Hussein did, was he in order to protect his nation, in order to prevent the entry of the warships, he poured millions of gallons of crude oil in the ocean and put fire, so as to threaten the enemy warships. See, this is how it must have affected the marine biota at that time. That's how wars can also affect. This destruction of habitat also involves the marine zones and oceans. Urbanization, industrialization, and even the tourism, all, all are affecting the habitats in coastal area. Urbanization. So suppose if you want to build a township, what you will do? First you will start with earthwork. So many soil microorganisms, animals, plants, they get uprooted. Especially the urbanization and industrialization and tourism in the coastal region has affected much to this habitat. Some 40% of global population lives in the coastal region. 40%. And placing a major strain on wetlands and ocean. The habitat loss can usually be placed under three categories. That is the habitat destruction, which is done completely by removing the trees and plants and instantly changing the landscape, especially during the urbanization. Or the mass deforestation by cutting down the trees is the prime example for this. I have told you there are three categories. The habitat loss takes place by altering the land in a way that confuses animals and disrupts their natural way of living. If there is a large patch of forest, if that forest patch gets fragmented either because of the road construction, railway line construction, or for various activities, then the animals get distracted. That's one very famous book, Toads on Roads. Toads on Roads. what has happened, it is in England, they constructed a national highway in the forest. And in the beginning, when they constructed a national highway, in the beginning of the rainy season, they could see that thousands of frogs and toads died because of the speeding automobiles on the road. Because it was a natural habitat, it was a complete habitat without any fragmentation, and the toads and frogs used to move from one region to another region. But because of the construction of the national highway, these toads and frogs don't understand that there will be automobiles. So, as usual, they started hopping from one part to another, and this has resulted in the kill of thousands and thousands of individuals of these frogs and toads. Then British government understood the impact of that. Then some underground tunnels were made and roadsides were blocked for this one. See, this is how a small change in the habitat will affect the life. By fragmenting the habitats, uh, entire area may not be destroyed but still causes environmental chaos. The fragmentation can separate the animal from one another, and it can deprive them from the food sources, because for many animals uh, the place of dwelling is somewhere, and the food availability will be elsewhere. So from the place from where they dwell, they daily go to there and hunt and get their food. But now because of the fragmentation, they may be blocked. And this can happen both in water and land. The construction of dams. There are many fishes which come to freshwater habitat for laying the eggs, for reproduction. But now because of the dam construction, they cannot jump or cross the dam and reach their original place. This is also a habitat destruction for them. And as a result, it becomes difficult for them to mate and find food. The migration pattern is also affected. Even some animals store food and water for the time of some inclement weathers, when their food source no longer in a season, during bad weather, or natural shelters are for many of the animals is like a similar to human homes. We also store our food for the rainy season and other things. For their natural habitats, for the wildlife serve as protection from storms, heavy rain and extreme temperature. Suppose if the wildlife is displaced, in such cases it changes their entire way of living. The entire way of living is affected. Even many species use their homes as a place to protect themselves from the predator. Especially the young ones are to be cared from the predators. But this habitat destruction will become these young ones more vulnerable for predation. Even the ecosystems, which are the nature's way of creating a balance between different species and environment, the ecosystems are also affected because of the pollution or destruction, and this will disturb the balance. The ultimate result of this is the death and inability to reproduce. See, this is how the habitats are being damaged. It's a wetland. Even many plants can no longer grow because the composition of the soil quality affects by pollution, or by plastic, or by pollution, or taking out the topsoil. Topsoil is a rich in nutrients. Suppose if you take out the topsoil, many plants will not survive there, and the Plants cannot force themselves to go if their seeds are thrown elsewhere where they do not find a more congenial and convenient environment for them. Nowadays, large amount of lands are used for industrial farming, and this has causing pollution and degradation. Farming agriculture requires large amount of fertilizers, pesticides, and even other materials which are full of chemicals and harmful ingredients that will also poison our water bodies, soil, and it may poses threat to the micro habitats. See, when the land gets fragmented, naturally, because of the construction of a road, see how the animals have to travel from one fragment to another fragment, uh, and that poses maximum risk to them. So, we humans have destroyed the natural habitats, and by that, we are contributing to the global warming and climate change also. Already, we have discussed how the climate change and global warming will affect the population of the species. Production of food, clothing, shelter, that are the requirement of a human being, uh, will directly, indirectly affect the biodiversity of the ecosystem. The destruction of habitats results in the reduction of species diversity and can make the ecosystem more vulnerable to exotic or invasive species, ultimately, indirectly and directly affecting the human health and well-being. This is about the habitat destruction. Like habitat destruction, that's also habitat degradation. What is the difference between habitat destruction? Habitat destruction, we can say that is the habitat loss. But habitat degradation is a process in which habitat quality is reduced. Habitat quality is reduced. But many things are same. Either the causes or the effects are more or less same. This habitat degradation can occur through natural process also, either by drought, heat, or cold. But what's important for us is the habitat degradation that is being done by human activities, either by forestry activities, agriculture, or urbanization. See, this is a photograph where habitats are being degraded. Suppose if there's an evergreen forest. In evergreen forest, there will be different types of tree structure, pattern, or structure. Tall emergent trees will be there, canopy trees will be there, shrubs will be there. Suppose if you remove one tall emergent trees, what happens? A gap is created. When the gap is created, then in that gap, a tree or a plant or a sapling which is light loving will come, and slowly it will change its neighborhood. Main cause of this habitat degradation is pollution. Even invasive species from other countries like Gambusia, which was brought here to control the mosquito, but it is causing a lot of problem to our ecosystem as it uh, has spread to everywhere. So either it may be pollution, invasive species, or agricultural development. Diminished resources, that means such as water and food. Urbanization, because the area of the cities and towns are increasing, Along with that, there will be logging, mining, destructive fishing practices, which and causes the disruption of the ecosystem. So this will all degrade the habitat. This habitat degradation may result in the habitat fragmentation, or fragmentation can cause to habitat degradation. Much of remains of terrestrial wildlife habitat has been cut up into fragments by roads, rail lines, or urban cities. Especially the aquatic species habitats have been fragmented by dams and water reservoirs. So earlier, before the construction of the Linganmakki Dam, Sharavati was a natural course of water. Now a dam has been built and the river has been divided into two fragments, lower reaches and upper reaches, where the species cannot move also. So this is a good example for habitat fragmentation. Uh, there are many species which require large territories where they can find mates and food. Suppose if their territories are blocked, then what happens is many a time problem for animal human conflict is the habitat fragmentation. Earlier there was their own habitat, now that has been converted, degraded for various activities, but this animal will move to their area because it's an instinctive behavior, and it will cause lot of human animal conflicts. Especially the conversion and degradation of the natural habitat adversely affects this biodiversity. In some cases it may be dramatic, in some it may be very slow. This habitat loss or degradation affects the survival of individual species. So if one species get affected, the process will destabilize the complex food web or destabilize the entire functioning of the ecosystem. See, this is an example of, this is a photograph which tells about the habitat destruction, see, habitat degradation. Lot of, in degraded habitat, invasive species will colonize, that is another problem. So this will assault on very fabric of our natural world. So the time has come to find way to slow down or to reverse this process before it completely affects on the human being. Historically, there were many areas which were designated as protected areas to safeguard, but even we have not left them. So now, in the complexity of bigger picture, the time has come to put an end to all these things for the very benefit of the human being. Otherwise, time is not far away. Even we human beings will also join the Red Data book, which gives the details of endangered organisms. So we think that nothing will happen to human being. No. Once this natural ecosystem is affected, it will affect the human beings also. So that's why it is the responsibility and duty of each and every one to fight against this and protect this wildlife. So this is what I wanted to convey to you. under this uh, wildlife problems. So, is it clear? Could you follow?
Yes, sir.
Is there any problem? Do you have any suggestions, queries? If not, in the next class, we will move on to the last topic in wildlife, that the wildlife conservation. That we will discuss from, we require 3 4 hours for this, and we will start from the next class. Yes? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Anything else? ಮತ್ತೇನಾದರೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆಯಾ?
No, sir.
Okay, then we will meet in the next class.